Fletcher, and how do you do, Buckaroos? How the heck are you? I am Tom the Beer and Whiskey Whisperer for the purpose of this video. I thought they said they cleared the cleared my infraction, but apparently I'm still in the doghouse on Facebook. So, anyways, we're still going to YouTube and the platform formerly known as Twitter. Anyway, if I can find it here, there it is. So I have this beer from Banter Brewing called Merrow's Cap. It's their Irish style ale at 4.8%. Let me show you that can there. Let me show you how beautiful that looks, though, using my Banter glass. Look at that color. That is nice. This beer is just good, man. Malty, but not overly sweet, and nice and herbal, a little earthy in the finish, as the style should be. So I want to pair with the American Irish style ale. I want to pair with an Irish whiskey. So I grabbed the Hyde 1893 commemorative edition. It's a single malt Irish whiskey, sherry cask matured. If I can read this here. Oh man, that lettering is tiny. Hyde single malt is matured in toasted first fill vintage bodega sherry casks. It's then cut in small batches and non-chill filtered for more original character. So anyway, let me show you the bottle there. So I also decided to go with another whiskey. Grab it here. So this is what I would refer to as if Americans were making Irish whiskey, right? Because it is very similar in color and flavor to many single malt Irish. This is from Restless Spirits out of North Kansas City, Missouri. This is their Gully Town American single malt whiskey. I believe it's a 5-year-old whiskey. Yep, 5-year-old whiskey. Let me show you that there. And then there. Since we have an American version of an Irish ale, I wanted to do an American version of an Irish whiskey. I guess it's not. It's a single malt, but it does resemble in a lot of ways the color and character of a good Irish whiskey, which is why I wanted to pair the two. But I am going to start with that Hyde here. There's sherry cask finish. I got about 2 ounces here. Oh man, I'm curious. I've never done a side by side with these two, so I'm curious about the aromas. Because I've said before when I've had this one, it really does feel like an Irish whiskey. There are some similarities on the notes. However, the sherry cask finish is obviously going to take this in a different direction. I want to start here. Sláinte. As we head to St. Patrick's Day, I'm going to do a Prelude to St. Patrick's Day video here. Damn, that is nice. That is really nice. A little bit sweet initially, as you expect an Irish whiskey to be. A little spicier to finish than most single malt Irish, I will say. And again, that sherry cask really adds another dimension. You may pick up some dark fruit notes. It wouldn't be unusual to pick up plum, cherry, date, fig. Kind of depends on you and your palate, to be honest with you. For me, I'm finding some plum and some dark cherry. almost a light brown sugar like sweetness because you feel just a tiny notion of molasses. And then that bright white oak in the finish. It's gorgeous. I'm going to set that down for a second and I'm going to pick this beer up. Oh, that's gorgeous. Again, what I really like about this beer, this version of an Irish ale or an Irish red, is it is malty, but it doesn't get overly sweet as some tend to do. Very herbal, a little earthy in the finish. For me, I get just the slightest hint of anise in there. It's that light, that very light licorice note. Almost more like tarragon because it's very subtle. Clean, slightly dry finish. It's just gorgeous. I'm going to set that down a second. I'm going to pick up this other whiskey and see how it pairs. Oh, man. I really like Restless Spirits products. The Restless Spirits, I believe, is at 92 proof. Yeah. And gosh, that whiskey is so good. The height, I believe, is the same, if I remember right here. Let me make sure. Yeah, they're both at 92 proof. And again, I'm not saying this is an Irish whiskey, the Restless Spirits. It is not, but it does have the feel of an Irish. If you were doing an Irish whiskey sampling and this was included in there, I don't think anybody would be able to tell that it wasn't Irish because it has the same color, the aromas, the flavor profile that you expect from a good single malt Irish. But Restless Spirits out of North Kansas City, man, those guys are just cooking. I was up there in August of last year, and I really want to get back. Had one cocktail there that was outstanding, and I bought a lot of products because the customer service there was just impeccable. I could not say enough good things about my experience at Restless Spirits. Oh man, so a little sweet initially. Like a honey-like sweetness. Actually, you might feel some honey and heather-like notes, much like an Irish whiskey. Nice oak, just a little bit of spice in the finish. A hint of cinnamon, maybe a little. You might feel some allspice. You might even feel some clove in there. Again, those notes, those flavors are really between you and your palate. If you use a lot of spices, if you taste a lot of spices, you might pick them out. Same with the fruit notes. You're not going to taste things that you don't eat. So if you eat certain things, you might find that flavor profile in there. Let me set that one down. I'm going to take a drink here of the beer. I'm going to go back to that other whiskey. For some of you, if you don't know, I'm not really in this Irish pub behind me. I'm just trying to set a mood, man. Thought it was a nice backdrop there. Nice backdrop, man. I do work tomorrow, but I don't go in till 3:30. So I do a video or two tonight. Since I haven't done any all week. Got a message from Facebook said they removed my restrictions, but then when I tried to post a video, it said it couldn't go. So I don't know. I was gonna have to watch myself. This happens to me about once a year. I kind of forget. Or just responding to somebody else, but nevertheless, nevertheless, hopefully I'll be out of trouble by St. Patrick's Day. Up there, kind of, get out. Just try to Get off the Zuckerberg list. Oh, this beer is insane, man. It is just crazy good. I like the style. Yeah, I like a traditional Irish ale. Irish style, I should say. But it is done just so impeccably well. It's got the perfect flavor profile. Really lend itself well to the Irish whiskey pairing. And if you have an inexpensive Irish whiskey, you can do your Boilermaker style drink. Or if you've got an Irish cream, you can do your version of an Irish car bomb. Or I guess there are other more politically correct names for the drink now. I don't know what they are. I've just been told there's other names, and you're not supposed to say Irish car bomb anymore. But uh, you know, I've been calling it an Irish car bomb for almost 40 years. It's going to be hard to change. Call it whatever the more politically correct name is. I don't know. I will probably do a version of that as we get closer to St. Patrick's Day. But today, I just wanted to pair this particular beer because it was just released officially today with the two Irish. And again, the reason I want to do the two Irish because or the two whiskeys, even though the one isn't actually an Irish whiskey, they Restless Spirits has kind of that Irish American feel about it. A lot of their products are really done with an Irish heart, so that's why this particular whiskey does remind me a lot of a single malt Irish. And since I've got an American version of an Irish, I thought, well, I do this American single malt with it because it is very reminiscent of a good single malt Irish. Gorgeous. Take a drink of this beer again. Where is the bit? Oh, nice. So I'm going to focus on this hide now. Let me show you the bottle one more time. Hide, 1893, commemorative edition, a single malt sherry cask matured single malt Irish whiskey at 92 proof. I picked this up on St. Patrick's Day last year, so it's lasted me just about a year. So you can see I'm going to try to save that last bit for St. Patrick's Day. But yeah, I've held on to it for a bit. Although I bought two bottles of the Hyde whiskey. They're both close to gone. The other one I've got here is I bought three. One of them's been gone a while, but the one I still have just a tiny bit left here is the rum finish 1922 single malt Irish. And all of their products are rather outstanding. So I'm going to finish up this Hyde 1893. Oh, excuse me. Boy, it's a good thing you're not here. Wow. That was brutal, man. That was wicked, Tom. Heading towards St. Patrick's Day. I love the holiday. I'm supposed to have it off, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm rather pissed about the whole leap year thing. It should be on Saturday, man. We got screwed, man. Us folks that believe in St. Patrick's Day, we took it in the shorts this time around. The St. Patrick's Day is moved to Sunday, so we have to start celebrating on Friday. I'll most likely be working Friday, but I should be off Saturday and Sunday. To do a little something, I did order a good uncured grass-fed corned beef. So I'm looking forward to cooking that. I've started doing it a little different the last few years. Instead of boiling it or simmering it for a long period of time, I've got to braising it, and I really love the flavor. Braising, give it a good sear on each side. Then I put the other stuff in there, the taters, the cabbage, or whatever else you want in there. Add some liquid, typically a beef broth, or you can use a bone broth, works perfect too, whichever. But yeah, put some liquid in there. And then just you put it in the oven, very low, no higher than 300, but typically somewhere between 250 and 300. Exactly what the great temperature is for braising, well, kind of depends on what chef you're talking to, because I've read all sorts of things. Some like 300, some like 225. I typically start at 300 and then kick it down to 250. And I think you get better flavor, you get a more tender product. When you boil, or even simmer, if you're crock pot or whatever, you lose a lot of that flavor in that meat. It's going into the water, but braising does not do that. Even though you've got some liquid in there, you don't have quite as much liquid as if you're boiling or simmering for a long period of time. You've got just enough liquid in there to cover your veg. In this case, I probably use about 2 cups. So it's not as much as you would if you were, encompassing it and boiling. But it just when you braise it like that, those flavors concentrate into the meat, into your broth, into everything. Those flavors just concentrate together. I haven't decided if I'm going to do cold cannon this year or just do some champ. Champ is simpler. Cold cannon typically adds some cheese. My wife doesn't usually like the cheese, so I may just do some champ. I don't have any Irish cheese on me at the moment. I probably should have got some already. This close to St. Patrick's Day, I'm going to have to go to the store to see if anybody still got any left. Some good Irish cheddar. Mm. Your Irish American favorites. Where obviously corned beef is an Irish American. It's not traditionally Irish. The cold cannon or champ, or I try to make them pretty close to traditional, right? I usually take a liberty or two because that's what I do, but I'm gonna stay pretty close to true. Champ is basically mashed potatoes, heavy cream, good butter. Use Irish butter if you can, or just a good European butter, but you want about 85% butter fat. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing. And then champ, of course, you had the green onions or scallions or chives. Chives works, whatever you've got, I guess. But I've usually already gone out and bought my Irish cheese, but I didn't get around to it this year. So I'm gonna have to see if I can still find some of the good Dubliner or the aged Irish cheddar. I like the Dubliner, and I'll tell you why. The Dubliner is a little nuttier. It's a little. It's not quite as sharp as the good Irish cheddar, which I like the sharpness, but my wife not as much. But if I add just a little bit of that Dubliner, she can eat it. But she's not as cheesy as I am. But you like that Dubliner. Dubliner's got those nutty notes. It's just great flavor. The Kerrygold, I should say, Kerrygold Dubliner. Dubliner. So I have to go to the store when I'm off this weekend, off Sunday, and see what I can find. I love the spicy oaky notes in the finish of this hide. It does give you it does finish spicier than most single malt Irish whiskeys do. Of course, the names uh, the Bushmills, the Jameson. Yeah, that's why I've been trying to buy different things over the last few years. I didn't buy those usual suspects last year. I picked up these hide whiskeys. And then back in August, I picked up one from Two Stacks. It's a cask strength Irish whiskey that's very nice. Then I think I bought the Port Barrel Tyrconnell as well. That's a good underrated single malt Irish. Man, very approachable whiskey, very easy to drink neat. Would I do anything else with this? No, really, you shouldn't. I mean, you can put it on the rocks if you like, but I wouldn't. It's not that it's that delicate, it's just that good. You really don't want to waste it, right? You don't need water in this, you don't need anything in this. Just drink it neat or buy the cheap stuff. There's no reason to buy a whiskey this good if you're not going to drink it neat. So, anyway, I digress. As I finish my Irish ale, uh, I've got way too many glasses. I've got glasses spread out all over. I've got some put away in nice places, but then I've got some just all over the counter. And I bring that up because when I was at Restless Spirits, I bought this nice rocks glass. It's also good for neat drinking, but I also bought a Glencairn there that says Restless Spirits on. I remember it was in kind of an awkward place, so I put it in a spot where I thought, okay, it'll be safe here. The problem is now I can't find the damn glass. I don't know where I put it to be safe. I thought there's two spots where I thought I put it. I've looked back there and I can't find it, so I don't know where the damn glass ended up. It'll probably show up when we ever move from this place when we pack everything up, but it's probably going to stay hid until that time. I do like this particular whiskey, and again, I'm not saying it's an Irish whiskey. It is not. It's an American whiskey. It's American single malt whiskey. But again, if you were to, if this was just thrown in and say, with five Irish single malt whiskeys, I don't know that anybody would be able to pick out the one that wasn't Irish because it really has that Irish whiskey feel to it. And that right sweetness, that right balance of sweetness to oak to spice. It really feels like an Irish whiskey, which is why I kind of wanted to pair with this, American version of an Irish ale. Uh, and it just finishes so beautifully with that American white oak. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Uh, just an amazing, easy drinking beer, just a hair under 5%. So it makes it very nice. Certainly easy to session, and we can argue all day what a session strength beer ought to be. But for me, anything under 5 certainly fits that bill. I'm not going to argue semantics with folks with a myopic point of view. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But anything under 5, yeah, I think we can call that a session beer. I don't find this quite as sweet as the Hyde. I'm pointing out differences. Not that one is better, one is, just the differences. It is the sweet. You do feel that again. I got a hint of like a brown sugar with the high because I felt a little molasses. But here it's more like a very light honey like sweetness. With that nice oak, with a little bit of light spice. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So, anyways, I digress. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker. Excuse me. Sorry about that, man. I hope I didn't get any on you. Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and I'm also Tom, the beer whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all right, good guys. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for tuning in.